Boom chickadee chanka, how's it going everybody? It's the Flying Pig here on Flying Pig United with a cheeky little video for you. Sort of post-day aftermath after the day of the game reaction for the Burnley game yesterday, which is of course was absolutely gashtastic. Burnley beat United 2-0 at Old Trafford. I mean, that was a pathetic performance second half from Manchester United. I thought actually in the first half United did all right. We played some good stuff. We were unlucky not to get a few goals, really, if not for some really piss-poor toothless finishing up front. We should have been up a couple at half-time, in my opinion. There you go. But it was an absolutely unacceptable second half. The overall result and overall performance was subpar. I mean, basically, Sean Dyche made Ole Gunnar Solskjaer his little prison bitch yesterday. Do you know what I mean? Bend over, Ollie. Proper made a fool out of him. It's really unfortunate. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is now back under the cosh. The pressure is well and truly back on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in his job at Manchester United. And like I was talking about before the game yesterday, this was a huge one for us. It would revitalise the fans, if you like. It would appease some of the fans if we'd have got that result against Burnley. You can't do anything about Liverpool at the moment. But the Burnley game was just a little bit too far. So many fans are all over Ole Gunnar Solskjaer out now. They want to see the manager sacked. I've just ran a poll on Twitter, by the way. So if anybody wants to just go and vote, actually, maybe we'll get an update at the end of the video also. But there is a poll currently running on my Twitter, which is there at Mr. Flying Pig HD. And at the moment, just to let you lads and lasses know, there's been 167 votes and Ollie in, Ollie out. 62.9% of my followers on Twitter want Ole Gunnar Solskjaer out of the club. That is what's going on at the moment. So that is the majority at the moment. I know that's not exactly a decisive poll there. You know, it's not a really great cross-section of United fans. But even so, I would imagine a lot of the followers that do follow me are reasonably inclined to be Ollie in, so that says a lot about it. It's not good. I mean, I can't defend the performance against Burnley really. Apart from in the first half, I thought we were good. Apart from the finishing aspect of it, what can Ole Gunnar Solskjaer do though, lads and lasses? Look, he has got a pretty bare-bones skeleton squad. We've got injury issues up the eyeballs, coming out the arsehole. Freaking Rashford, Pogba, McTominay, they're all out. They're battered up. They're sick notes. We've got a couple of other sick notes knocking around, the likes of Eric Bailly and stuff like this. You know, we haven't got the players there at the moment to deal with any sorts of injury crises at all. I'm not even going to say crisis. I'm going to say crises because it's multiple crises at Manchester United right now. And, you know, that's up top there. We've only got a couple of recognised strikers there. One of them's 18. The other one's Martial, who was a bit hit or miss. Certainly in the game yesterday, couldn't take his chances. Didn't have that natural finishing clinicality to him at all. And Rashford's out injured. Dan James has gone off the boil a little bit recently. You know, wasn't expecting too much from him coming up. He's done amazingly. But just last couple of games, he's gone off the boil. United need players. We can't depend on people like Andreas Pereira. He's just not United quality. Say what you want about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, but tactically, the way we actually set up in that Burnley game and the way we played for the first 40 minutes of the game before we conceded that goal was actually really good. If Wan-Bissaka's crosses, multiple crosses, had been met correctly, we could have won that game by half-time. As it was, Burnley scored, and I cannot defend the shocking level of defending that was out there on display by Easter Island head, slabhead Harry Maguire. And also Matic for that first goal. You know, there were some errors made in the defensive positions, especially by Slabhead. It's another game where Harry Maguire puts in another stinker of a performance. You know, we had Captain Gashtastic leave recently and go to Inter Milan. Guess what? We've replaced him with another freaking Captain Gashtastic or a Captain Slabtastic, whatever you want to call him. Because he's just been pretty awful, to be fair, since signing him for £80 million. I mean, Leicester are laughing all the way to the bank on that one. They're probably still laughing and buying shitloads of Walker's crisps or something and just absolutely stuffing themselves silly over that one, because they have made a huge amount of money off of Harry Maguire. In what other universe or alternate reality could a club get £80 million for Harry Maguire? I mean, we have overpaid for him when you consider it, but obviously it's early in his United career, but the start of it, if that's anything to go by, it's pretty freaking gash. But anyway, I hope you're all having a good one. Get involved in the comment section as we go along. Thanks to everybody that's stopping by in here. I can see there's a bunch of you tuned in right now. OTB, Icky1693, OMG We Rock Hard, Nick Pendragon, Tizer32, Azori Sweet, T-Cow, Oliver Weston, Debbie Elder, The Saint, Neil Duff and Share Myers, everybody else, thank you very much for getting in here in the live chat. Get your thoughts and opinions known. Go over to my Twitter page, have a vote on the Ollie in, Ollie out debate, and we will talk about that at the end of the show. But I want to make this video just to see what sort of you guys are feeling about it at the moment, and also to give my views and opinions on it. Like I was saying, we've got tremendous injury problems at the moment. The board didn't invest in Ollie in the summer, truly, and we just allowed players to leave, and they didn't bring in top quality midfielders to replace the likes of Herrera going. Pogba's been injured in and out, and even when he was fit, he's hit or miss. McTominay's been a breath of fresh air this season, but he's injured. We don't have the depth there to deal with any sort of injury problems. That is the key. So what do we need to do? We need to strengthen. We need to buy players. But what I want to just sort of talk about is the potential for the Glazers and Ed Woodward and our board actually backing Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Now, there is a story on Sky Sports main news today, which claims that the United board are still backing Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Somehow they know this information, but they are backing Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. They're happy with what he's doing at the club. They know that on the back of that Burnley defeat, there's going to be lots of pressure and lots of fan backlash, and they wanted to get something out there or some bullshit like that. That they still are backing Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, but he's only going to take a couple of games to know these Glazers for anything to swing, and even that could just be a complete malarkey story. So it is kind of realistic. If you look at the fan percentages of people that do want Ole Gunnar Solskjaer out now, and you look at the likeliness that the Glazers may make a change, I mean, they've been pretty steady and pretty swift, I'd say, in the past with making some changes. Moisey was sacked quickly. Van Gaal won the FA Cup and then was sacked. Jose Mourinho was sacked after a couple of months of a ropey start at United after finishing second the season before. So they haven't traditionally given managers a lot of time to fail. But with this Solskjaer situation, I think even they must realise that the squad's just not there. I mean, that is not a good enough squad to put out there on the pitch last night when you're talking about how much the team's actually worth and how much money has been invested in it and how much they get paid in wages and all these sorts of things. It's not to an acceptable level, not for a United team. Players like Pereira, even players like Matic, Fred, at this moment in time, I don't think they're to United standard. And Matic's been doing good recently, I'm not saying that, but what I'm saying is, they're just not United standard. We need better players in there. Like I was saying, they wouldn't get in any other of the top teams around Europe's squads or the starting 11s. Certainly not. Players like Pereira wouldn't get in any of the top team starting 11s. Players like Lingard wouldn't get in any of the freaking top teams, feeder teams, freaking starting 11s probably. But there you go. I mean, there's lots of players that United have got that, in my opinion, are just a little bit subpar. We need 4 or 5 players in this transfer window. Will the Glazers spend that? No. So 4 or 5, I can say 4 or 5, that's what we actually need, but will they spend that? No, of course they won't do that. Realistically, the best you could hope for is 3, but considering it's the 23rd of January right now and we still haven't even got this Bruno Fernandes deal wrapped up, that's still carrying on and lingering on for so long now. We haven't got that wrapped up. Will that happen? Will they want to spend that money and back Ole Gunnar Solskjaer if they don't think he's going to be the man to extend his career at United? If he will be sacked at some point in the next 6 months, would you allow him to go out there and invest a lot of money into the squad? It's the same story with Jose again here in his last season. So, I mean, there's so many variables, but I just hope that this pathetic board that we've got, Ed Woodward, and the Glazers, do realise that this United side is really struggling at the moment. The injury problems we've got are apparent. We're having a nightmare in the centre of the park. We've got further injury problems compounding our issues up top there, with now Rashford being out for a few months. We don't really have a true recognised number 9 striker. I know Anthony Martial is playing that role for us, and he has been good in some games recently, and he's looked really good in some games actually, but he's too hot or cold, too hit or miss, and I want to see a lot more from Anthony Martial in that position. It wouldn't hurt to have a little bit of a backup or help up top there, to be fair. I mean, there's some speculation and transfer speculation about players such as Bruno Fernandes. Little update on him. Apparently he is very intent on coming to Manchester United. This is what I'm reading. But the clubs have still not reached a freaking agreement. So Man United are still unable to reach any sort of an agreement with Sporting Lisbon over the sale of Bruno Fernandes to United this window. I mean, it's pathetic. It's pathetic. It's now the 23rd of January. It's absolutely pathetic how they haven't got anything wrapped up yet. So I'm very annoyed about it. hoping we can get him through the door as soon as possible, and I'll let you know as soon as anything like that happens. But are they going to give Ole Gunnar the money to spend? Is he going to be allowed to go out there and also sign another couple of players in this window? And I know it's not easy to sign players in this window. You can just say, oh, go and sign a few players, Jimenez or whoever from Wolves. But they're not going to want to get rid. They're on the same points as United, for Pete's sake. They are not going to want to get rid of their goal scorer at this stage of the season, even if you do give them a premium amount of money, I don't think. And the player, to be fair, okay, United is a much bigger club than Wolves, but right now, where we are, the team unity and everything, I don't know if he'd be better off staying there. So there's a lot of factors here. We're searching around in a sort of lower end of the transfer market here. I mean, there's talk today of speculation of a bid being rejected by Inter Milan from Manchester United for a player called Vecino, who's a midfielder. He's played about 17 times for them. He's a Uruguay international. He's got like 40 caps for Uruguay. Uruguay are a good international side. I don't know much about him, to be perfectly honest with you, but there's news that Inter rejected a bid from United for him. 17 appearances, two goals, 1 assist. Doesn't sound like the most creative of players for us, if we're being honest. 17 appearances for Inter, 2 goals, 1 assist. I mean, it's better than Jesse Lingard, isn't it? It's definitely better than Jesse Lingard, but fact is, we do need to get some bodies in, some decent professional footballers in, as pathetic as it sounds. If the players are not available in January, if we can't go out there and get, the Maddisons, the Christian Eriksens of this world to really improve our side, or the Bruno Fernandeses, etc., are we looking in that second tier, or not even the second tier, like the 4th tier? We're looking for loan players, which no bastard's ever really heard of, and who have literally just been playing for their teams in their leagues and performing to a subpar level. That's pretty much what we're going for right now. I mean, look, there's nothing wrong with getting players from lower teams. Like, look at what Klopp's done, to be fair, and Liverpool have done some of the signings they made over the years. They're getting them top players from teams like Southampton and stuff like that. So you can get good players from lower teams. Do you know what? One thing that annoys me, actually, that I'd like to see happen, and I don't know why we are not more interested in this as a football club, and that is Christian Eriksen. Look, I know Bruno Fernandes, yeah, that's brilliant, but Christian Eriksen is going to leave Spurs come the end of the season. He's looking likely maybe to be joining Inter in this transfer window before it closes. Now, the amount of money involved is very small. Now, would Spurs want to sell to United when they could sell to Inter? No, they wouldn't want to sell to United when they can get him to go abroad and they don't have to worry about him playing for a rival. But United could give them 30 or 35 million or whatever. There's only a few months left on the contract. It's a ridiculous amount of money to pay for somebody who's coming to the end of the contract. But if it gets you the player, gets you a top player who can come in and help you big time now, then it does seem to make a lot of sense to me. But nobody's even talking about that or looking at that. So I don't know what's going on with transfers at United. I think the fact is we've just got an idiot in charge. Literally, we'd be better off with, a freaking lemming in charge of this football club than Ed Woodward. Ed Woodward has no redeeming features at all. What can he actually do for this team in terms of bringing players in and recruitment? If you look at the recruitment over the last few years, might have spent a bit of money, but it's not spent it well. Everything's been a waste, man, pretty much. We've had to cash back in and basically pawn our players off just to get them off the books in the end there. So very poor business acumen shown by the businessman in the business, which is Ed Woodward. Of course, we do need a director of football. That's a major issue. What I'm getting at here, and look, I know this debate video is sack or back Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Are you Ole in or are you Ole out? That's fundamentally what I want to know. But what I'm trying to get at, I guess what I'm trying to justify here is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's position at this football club. Because I think he loves this football club. People say he's the Glazers yes man and stuff like that. No, I disagree with that. Look, he's got a job to do. He's the current manager. He loves United. He wants, trust me, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants to get United back up there challenging to the top. Fact is, we've got a big rebuilding process ahead of us, whichever manager comes in, whoever's in charge of our football club. The current squad is not up to the standard. We need to get improvements in various positions, 4 or 5 top players, to get a really competitive squad that may be able to challenge for the title. I think we've got certain players filled now, which are fantastic, like positions filled, like Wan-Bissaka. I think that's a solid for the next decade if we want. I think Brandon Williams over on the other side is really looking like a talent. That could be something that's really a position that's solidified for him over the next couple of seasons. I do think Harry Maguire will hopefully come good, but recent form's nothing to go by. We've got some good basis for a good team there, but we're lacking in certain key areas, mostly creative midfield. We could do with more defensive-minded midfield as well, like somebody who's just a little bit better defensively, because I thought Matic did a good job yesterday, just keeping hold of it, buzzing around, giving it to people, but he still made a defensive error in the air there. He still is defensively error prone. I think he was quite good going forward yesterday, but defensively error prone. And Fred is the same for me. None of them are a 5-star defender, if you know what I mean. We need somebody who is, and somebody who's creatively good in midfield to feed those ball through and unlock those defences that we've really struggled to do. Hopefully Mata can still be in and around the team doing that, but we certainly need somebody else there to really help out and really take the game to these bigger teams. And a winger too. Rashford's out now. We've got Dan James, of course. I mean, it's slim pickings. I don't want to see Andreas Pereira playing for United at all at the moment. I'd much rather see us go out there and sign an up-and-coming winger. Actually, there's talk of another transfer speculation about Jude Bellingham. 16 years of age. I mean, 30 million quid. I mean, surely we can spend that better. Could you not get Christian Eriksen for 30 million quid or something like that? I don't know. Anyway, lads and lasses, there's a bunch of you tuning in here. Thanks for stopping by on the live show today. Do the pig a favour if you are tuned in live. Smash a cheeky little like on this video. There's 100 odd of you in here, so let's see if we can get 100 likes on this video by the end of it. Thanks to everybody who's commented on the video yesterday, by the way, and who watched the live reaction and all that good stuff. I haven't had a chance to reply to all of the comments yet, but I absolutely will do. Thanks to everybody that's got involved and any new subscribers that are hanging out in the live chat as well. Shout out to you guys. Okay, so let's get into your comments then, lads and lasses, and see what you guys think about what I've been talking about and about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Is he out of his depth? Should he be given the job? I mean, United are in 5th place at the moment. Is that really any lower than we should be? I don't really think it is. I think United should be in and around that position right now when you look at the squad that we've got. I think the top 4, they've all got better squad than us. So, it's easy to blame Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. It's easy to put all this pressure and expectation on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, but the fact is he will be the scapegoat for the Glazers. Everyone knows in the footballing world the Glazers are mismanaging this club, from the stadium to the facilities to the stock market, all this stuff that they're doing, and also, of course, out there on the pitch, behind the scenes, having Ed Woodward, not having directors of football, etc. Some clubs have multiple. We don't even have one. We've just got an egghead up top there. It's a mismanaged football club. It really, really is, and we need to do something about it. You can't make the Glazers leave. They own it. Ed Woodward needs to be sacked. United fans need to keep up these protests, keep up these chants at the games, walkouts, public protests, public walkouts, all that stuff. Stop buying the merch, tickets, all that good stuff for a while, just to make the Glazers aware that we want a change in the leadership and the management of this football club. And I'm not talking about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I am talking about the top down. I'm talking about Ed Woodward, the chief exec, who's supposed to be in charge of recruitment, transfers, all that. And if history is anything to go by, he's a clueless idiot. And he doesn't seem to be capable of bringing the players in. If that was the case, we would have replaced some of the outgoing star players that we lost in the summer then, but we didn't. We would certainly be doing that now. We'd have certainly done it earlier on in the transfer window, not wait until the very end of the window when we had a very important January ahead of us. And we had massive injury problems. McTominay, Pogba, Rashford, that alone is a nightmare for United because we don't have the depth to deal with any of those injuries to our key players. So, of course, that's why we're struggling. I think, there's no real excuse. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer should be beating Burnley, though. Tactically, though, I thought we got it right first half, and we could have been a couple up at half-time. So, after that, though, the second half was drivel. Sean Dyche is a clever man, isn't he? His team is very organised, but in terms of stars out there on the pitch, in terms of quality out there on the pitch, we should be able to beat Burnley even with that team we had out there. But we are a paper-thin squad. We are stretched at the moment. We do have games coming thick and fast, injury issues. Not everyone's 100% fit, and I think that is showing out there for United. I think that's why you're seeing United really struggle in this January period, because now the games are coming thick and fast, and United haven't strengthened. You're seeing other teams strengthening. I mean, look at Spurs. Look at the riches of quality that Spurs have got in their midfield. Okay, it's not Barcelona or one of the best midfields in the world, but still they've got players like, they've got Sissoko, they've got Dyer, they've got Who else have they got? Lo Celso. They've just brought in that Gedson Fernandes guy. Christian Eriksen's still there at the moment. You know, all of those players that I just mentioned, we would take at the moment. And I'm not saying they're great players. Some of them are good players, but we would take them right now. And yet they're the ones who are strengthening. They've brought in a player on loan. United need to go out there and do something similar. We need to have a look at the loan market. I know this deal for Vecino was rejected by Inter if it's a supposed legit deal or offer that we made, rather. But that's the sort of market we're in right now. Maybe we don't want to invest and buy players for a massive premium right now because the owners don't want to do that. Woody doesn't want to do that. So they're going to try and just, you know, they're just going to try and create some sort of a mishmash set of scabs, basically. Do you know what I mean? You ever seen that film with Keanu Reeves called The Replacements? That's basically what's going in. We're getting a bunch of hired goons in till the end of the season. It doesn't sound good, lads and lasses. They can't make a deal with Sporting for Bruno Fernandes. Eddie doesn't know his arse from his elbow, can't get the deal over the line, can't agree terms with them. Even though he's desperate to come, they want to sell and we want to buy. Why can't we just meet them in the middle? Why do we have to be so stubborn, man? We paid £80 million for a freaking Easter Island statue, yet we can't pay 50 or 60 or 70 million even for Bruno Fernandes. I pay 70 million for Bruno Fernandes right now because it's a premium we have to pay for a player that we need who's supposedly very talented and can help us out right now and be creative for us. So there you go. I think the biggest problem at United, just before I get into the comment section, is actually the shite owners, the shite board, the shite Woody, Wood, and of course the shite set of players we got, really. And there's some good players in there, there's some gems in there, don't get me wrong, and we've got great young players which are going to progress. And in a few years' time, I'm expecting this United side to be really kicking on. But as of now, we are lacking some serious talent, some serious experience, some serious quality, especially in the centre of the park. So we've got to address it. Come on, the Glazers, back on Gunnar Solskjaer, give him the money, allow him to bring in Bruno Fernandes, allow him to bring in a striker too, allow him to bring in another winger before the window closes. That's what I want to see happen. I know it's not the most realistic, but that's what we need. And then in the summer transfer window, we need to go and spend a fair bit of money and get another few top players in there. United's a big club. We may be struggling at the moment, but we are a big club. Trust me, we can go out there, we can pick the best players from the lower half of the Premier League. And even in this era, you can prize them away from those teams. They don't really have to sell. Everyone's financially okay in the Premier League, to be fair. But United's still a commercially massive club. We've still got that draw, that tradition, that history. And certainly, you know, if I'm looking at Jimenez, for instance, over at Wolves, and, you know, I don't know, but like I said, I don't think they want to sell now in January. But come the summer, if you make a good offer, he will want to come, and they will perhaps have to sell. That's still how it works with United and the lower clubs. And I say lower, they're on the same points as us right now. But you know what I mean? We're still a big club. It's just that our board seems so reluctant to make any sort of a real investment. And that's why I think maybe Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's time at United is soon coming to an end, because we saw smacks of this previously when they didn't back Jose in his last window for the club, and we're seeing it here. They just had a complete lack of movement. We should have got several players in there. They seem reluctant to do that. Is Pochettino waiting in the wings? I mean, I don't know. I hope they're back in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I hope they stick with him until at least the end of the season. And I know that's not the popular view. I mean, I'm just going to go back on Twitter now. Some people may have voted, so let's just give it a refresh and see what the standings are as of now. So 62.7% of people still think Ole out. So Ole Gunnar Solskjaer out. They don't want Ole. They're all pinning the blame on Ole. 62.7%. I mean, that's quite a fair majority there. Right, let's get into the comment section, lads and lasses. Do us a favour, smash a like on it, get your thoughts in now, and let me know what you think about anything we've discussed, any of the transfers, you know, anything you want to discuss about Manchester United, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Do you back Ole Gunnar Solskjaer? Mr. Bobo Django comments, back Ole, he's tactically terrible. He'd be sacked anywhere else. He's a big problem, as well as the board. Well, I did see that he's just reached the same amount of losses, or even more losses than wins for United in the league. I mean, that's not good. That's not good, is it, to be fair, Mr. Boba Django? But you're saying he's tactically terrible, but there are examples where he's been tactically astute. Now, can you be tactically terrible or astute with a really bad team of players, with an injury hit and under-quality squad? I don't know if you can. Like I've said previously, I could get a bunch of my mates together and we could play United, and we could have Pep Guardiola managing us with his tactical abilities, and he could train us for 5 years. And we're still going to get freaking mullered when we come up against a really good team because we're just a bunch of individually shite players. That's sort of what, my opinion, is a little bit of what's happening at Manchester United. We don't have the quality in there. But when you see us come up against certain teams in certain games, like we did get the best of Manchester City. We did get points off Liverpool. We're the only team to do that this season. He set us up defensive and negative to break them down and to stop them doing their thing, and it worked really well. That was some good tactical ability displayed there. He came up against Jose Mourinho's Spurs. We got the better of them. You know, there's been some big games. That PSG game where we went over to PSG, that comeback, I know that's previous last season. But even so, there's been some good displays of tactical ability from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Now, there's also been some displays of absolute tactical mediocrity and Moisey-esqueness, such as, you know, like yesterday. What do? We bring on Luke Shaw and Jesse Lingard to change the game there. I mean, okay, maybe there's just not the talent pool to choose from at United, like I've previously highlighted. We don't have the players, and we were injury hit. But even so, like, I don't really see the benefit of doing that in the game yesterday. We could have started Greenwood. Greenwood's been chomping at the bit recently. He's been in fantastic form. He's literally been looking like one of our best players, certainly a natural finisher. That's one thing you can say about the lad, and that is something that United didn't have on the pitch yesterday. Because if we did have that on the pitch, we'd have scored at least the goal, I'm sure. Matters fluffed a couple, I think, or at least fluffed one. Martial's fluffed a bunch. They were just being fluffed left, right and centre, do you know what I mean? So I think that we need some natural finishers, or at least a natural finisher up there. People keep saying that we need a Ruud van Nistelrooy type player. 100% agree with that. That would be very nice. And that creative player just to unlock everybody. But look, fair enough. I mean, you know, you think he's tactically terrible. He has shown glimpses of good tactics. He's shown moments of terrible tactics, bad in-game management, good in-game management. You know, it's a mixed bag. He's an inexperienced guy at the end of the day, and he has got a team that is struggling. The thing is with United is that think about the squad depth and the squad quality of United right now. In terms of expectation of the league position and where we're supposed to be and where we're supposed to finish and the fan expectation, we've got the worst squad in the league. Now, I don't say that loudly. I don't mean we've got the worst squad of the league, because obviously Norwich's squad is worse than Man United's, but I mean for the expectation of the club, for the position we're supposed to be in and where we finish, etc., we've got the worst squad to be able to do that. That's my opinion. I think that's actually true. I'd even say Arsenal have a better squad in some ways than United in terms of expectation and pressure and everything, because obviously theirs is not quite as high as United's in terms of expectation and pressure right now at this moment in time, with Arteta just coming in. But yeah, I mean, what can I say? United is a massive rebuilding job. Whoever's the manager is going to have to rebuild this squad. Whoever's the manager is going to have to sign 4 or 5 players. So it might as well be on a Gunnar Solskjaer until the end of the season at least. And look, if you give him, say, I don't know, 100 million in this window now to go out there and bring Bruno Fernandes through the door and bring another player or 2 through the door, maybe a couple of young prospects for the future or on loan or whatnot, and allow him to work his magic to the end of the season, maybe he can just nick us top 4. We're not that far behind Chelsea still. Maybe he can just nick us top 4. And then, considering the squad, considering the lack of backing by the board in the summer transfer window, considering the roller coaster of a season it would have been, if we'd finished up with Champions League football, I think you'd have to say it would have been a really great season for United. And then that would hopefully convince a bunch of people that Ole Gunnar would perhaps be worth keeping for the next season and invest a little bit more in. But of course he's got to do that now. I think with the expectation of United, it's like, for me to even say that goes to show you how high fan expectation is, because we shouldn't get top 4. We haven't got a squad capable of getting top 4, but I'm almost saying if he doesn't get top 4, then he's pretty much gone. I mean, I'm not saying that, but I think the general consensus of fans would be thinking along those lines. We've got a super chat here from Alex Rudd. Thank you very much, Alex Rudd, for getting in here. Hope you're good. He says replacements, more like band news bears. Personally, I don't know what that is, Alex. So, you know, I appreciate you getting in there with your comment, but I don't know what band news bears is, my friend, but I'm sure somebody out there does. Archie comments, Ollie less points than Moyes. Yeah, well, I can't say anything about that, but Moyes had a much better team, didn't he? Moyes still had Robin van Persie. Imagine if we had Robin van Persie from that era right now. I mean, come on. We would be scoring a heck of a lot more goals. Griffo Chaz comments, Rashford is injured, so the manager who believes in youth would at least play Greenwood. Well, you make a good point there, but I mean, we don't know the fitness of the players behind the scenes ultimately, do we? I mean, I agree though, I was gutted I didn't see Greenwood play, especially Pereira playing in his place. Like, come on. We could have switched James over to the left, had Greenwood out on the right, Mata in the middle there, Martial. Does sound a lot better because I just don't think Pereira's up to it and Greenwood's been on fire recently. So yeah, I see what you're saying, but maybe he just didn't think he was 100% fit to play, but then he didn't play him in the previous game either, so that's probably not the case. Sorry, just a bit of gas there. Mark Sin, how you doing? He says, if I'm a chef, I can still make a decent meal with bad ingredients. I'll just make something simple, like spaghetti bolognese. It's a good point you make there, to be fair. I mean, if you look at like Sheffield United and how they're doing, and the way they're playing their football, and how tight they are at the back, and where they are in the league, and how they're overachieving, when you look at the quality of the players they've got in terms of name and reputation, and value, and wages and all that stuff. I mean, it pales in comparison to the players that United have got, but it doesn't translate into the real world out there on the pitch. So I fully hear you, my friend. You know, that's exactly what Sheffield United are doing. They are making a fantastic Michelin star spaghetti bolognese right now. Do you know what I mean? Whereas United, let's be honest now, we've probably gone and this is what we've done. We're trying to make an omelette rather than just going to get some nice sort of free-range eggs down the supermarket. I don't know, we've flown to Austria or something, or flown to Australia probably. And we've got a bloody emu. We've got emu eggs. We've got freaking emu eggs, which have cost the absolute earth. We've taken them home. By the time they got there, they're freaking rotten, man. They're freaking rotten. But guess what? We still got to crack them open. We still got to make a shitty omelette out of it. And guess what? It tastes like shite. That's what's going on at United. So good analogy there, my friend. I like what you come up with. I think, yeah, Sheffield United, they're like a spaghetti bolognese. United's like a stanky old rotten freaking omelette. Good call. Yes, I think that is actually quite true. Like the teams that don't have as many players at their disposal, the big name players at their disposal, maybe the pressure's less, maybe they have a better teamwork, maybe they're just players that are really motivated. If you look at Sheffield United, just the effort levels are fantastic. I mean, that's one thing about Liverpool that is very commendable. Aside from the fact they're just a very good set of players, like their team spirit and their intensity and their effort levels and their belief and motivation and all that stuff is to a very, very high level. You have to give credit where credit's due. Whereas United's team, I think we just got a few bottle merchants in there, man. A lot of bottle merchants. We don't have any grab by the game by the scruff of the freaking neckers, you know, and go out there and really stamp it on there. Because if we did, you would have seen a much better fight back at the end of that game against Burnley, regardless of who's out there on the pitch and what team selected. You would have just seen a better fight back from a United side, from any team. It was a pitiful effort out there. Maximilian comments, for me, if Ed sacks Ollie, the Glazers need to sack Ed. The guy has sacked 3 coaches already. At what point do the Glazers look at Ed? You make such a great point. Like, he's the one appointing these managers. He's the one saying, yeah, you're the man, spending huge amounts of money, still paying off these managers, giving Jose a 15 million golden handshake and all this good stuff. Sucking money out of the club. That's all down to Woodward, isn't it? That is Ed Woodward. He's not appointed well. He's not recruited well. Think about the money he's wasted on players. How much do we pay Alexis Sanchez per week? We're still paying him to go over there and play for Inter. Lukaku, we paid a huge amount of money for. Okay, we recouped a large amount of it, to be fair. Pogba's been a bit of a flop, if we're being honest. I know people seem to think that Pogba's like the Messiah, but you know, I've never seen it in a red shirt, not consistently enough anyway. I know he is great and he has got the talents, but that's another flop, you'd have to say. Harry Maguire's £80 million. Could that have £80 million been spent better? I think that it could have been. When you look at Dan James for 15 mil, when you look at Robertson over at Liverpool for 8 million, you know, there are still gems that you can find. There are still great players out there. You don't need to spend £80 million sometimes. But look, I was happy United spent the £80 million at the time because we needed to get our player. It's the same with Bruno Fernandes now. You might have to pay a premium. It's January. Nobody's going to want to sell. He's a big name player. Everyone knows we need him. Sporting know we need him. They're hanging out for an extra 5 or 10 million on what it is, and you can understand it because United are desperate for the guy. And when you're in that position, sometimes you have to do some desperate things. Do you know what I mean? Matt Braga, how you doing? Says Martial hasn't been a consistent clinical finisher since he was initially brought in by LVG. When Mu took his number 9, he never seemed as interested anymore. Hey, interesting comment, Matt Braga. I mean, you might be right about that with Moo. There has been spells where he's been very, very good, and I thought, you know what, it's Thierry Henry in disguise. And then there's just been spells where he's been completely hit or miss and invisible in games. And that was one of those ones yesterday, really. He just didn't have his clinical finishing boots on at all. I don't think he's ever going to be that 30-goal-a-season man. I don't know, people talk about 20-goal-a-season man, and that would be nice for United, to be fair, which Rashford was on course for, to be fair, before the injury. But a 30-goal-a-season man is really what we would like, you know, a real clinical, like, top striker, one of the best in the world. I'm talking your Agueros, I'm talking your Luis Suarez's, you know, those sorts of guys. And I just don't think Martial is ever really going to be that level of a goal scorer. Now, is he great at all the other stuff? Is he great intelligent passing, little link-ups, 1-2s, and taking players on? Yes, I think he is. But in terms of clinical finishing, just the ball landing to him in the right area and him reacting and smashing it in the back of the net, I don't think he's got that natural clinicality. Great comment there, Matt. Thank you very much. The Saint, how are you doing, my friend? He said, Pogba sold a dream built on lies. JP comments, Carlton Pogba. So, yeah, I mean, Pogba is never lived up to it. It is a shame. He's out injured at the moment. It's sort of redundant speaking about it, really, because he's not available for, like, at least another month, I don't think. At least another month. And right now, we could really do with him. He had some sort of an injury. He decided to get the surgery done. We will have him for the remainder of the season when he's back for a few months before maybe he does depart in the summer. But look, depending on those few months, depending on the attitude of the player and his agent and all that good stuff, we may see him leave or we may see him stay even past the summer. And if there's a managerial change, that could always affect it and things like that. But for me, he's just never quite lived up to it. He is worth a lot of money. Let's say you could get 140 million for him. That's a lot of money to go out there and invest in some other quality players, you know. I mean, just think how much you could probably get like 3 or 4 Neveses or, you know, 3 or 4 Neveses or Jimenezes for that sort of money. So, yeah, it's a lot of money, and I don't think what he's paid as well and what we take out of the club to give to Pogba, I don't think he really puts that back into the side. Gaz Elliott comments, for F's sake, is Ollie still here? So he's obviously not happy that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is still the manager. Do you know what? I was a little bit sketched out this morning when I woke up, because I went on Sky Sports and I was sort of really quite half expecting to see breaking news, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer sacked as Manchester United manager. I was honestly expecting to see that, and we could still see that today, to be fair. Instead, there's an article on Sky Sports that said the board are backing Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, but we never truly know. And football's a very fickle business. 1 or 2 results don't go your way, you can certainly get the chop. Now, the argument for the Glazers and the board to get rid of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is maybe from what they've seen, the amount of games that we've lost compared to the amount that we've won, the tactics, the fact we are losing to teams like Burnley. I mean, if you look at some of the results we've had this season, there's a Bournemouth game, West Ham beat us. There's been some performances this season where we've got battered by subpar teams. Now, we didn't get battered by Burnley, but they still won the game 2-0, and that's all people will remember. So it's just not good enough. We are shite. United are nowhere near it. We need to bring players in. We need to improve. I think that's the biggest problem, and it's been the biggest problem for years, is not having the right quality or amount of top players in the side. And that's all down to the owners and the Glazers and Woodward not investing in the side properly. They may have spent, but they spent shoddily. They didn't spend properly. They didn't invest in quality players. Now, we got a few gems along the way, but we haven't replaced, certainly in the last year, the likes of Herrera, Sanchez, Lukaku, big-name players going out of the club. There's still a lot of deadwood round. We still want to see Phil Jones go. We still want to see Lingard go. I'd be open to Matic going in the summertime, to be fair, as long as we bring in a quality midfielder to replace. It's all about replacement. It's all about having the bodies there to deal with all the different competitions that United are in. And we're still in the League Cup, still in the FA Cup, still in the Europa, still in the Premier League. There's so many different competitions and fronts to battle on. You need a good, deep squad, which is why City have been so successful over the last few years, because they really have invested and they've built that squad up. It's like they were the champions last season. Guess what? They just signed Rodri and Cancelo and these top players that United would be crying for big money, and they just do that to add to their depth and replace any outgoing players. they've done that tremendously. Of course, it's easy because their owners actually do want to invest in the squad and improve the side and make them win things. Say what you want about City's owners, whether you agree with it, whether you don't, whatever. They have always, since they've been here, invested heavily, sometimes too heavily, into the side, got the best names, biggest managers, and tried to get them winning. Now, our club, on the other hand, with the Glazers at the helm, all they've really done is service the debt of the football club. We haven't got any better facilities or, stadium. The playing squad is the thinnest it's ever been. The performance from the team is the worst it's ever been, really, over the season. If you're looking at but I think it's down to the depth of the squad, mainly. There's all sorts of problems at United, is what I'm saying. But the main one is the structure, the owners, the board, Woodward at the top there. They're not fully invested into the side like a Man City does, or like a Chelsea football club under Roman Abramovich. And we don't have that sugar daddy, but you don't need a sugar daddy. You just need an owner that understands that they've got one of the most special football clubs in the world, which is a huge money-making commercial enterprise, but can sustain itself, for glory. It can, because I don't know if it can anymore, but Fergie built United up to be a force, to be a powerhouse, be a brand, a big global economic company, really. Everybody knows. And that was built up really by Sir Alex Ferguson, the work he did. It put us in the position where we could sign the top players, where we're constantly improving. He built up the stadium and stuff in his time while he was here. That's all gone out when it all stopped after the Glazers. Now it's just a decline. They're just going to sell bits of the club off. They'll suck bits of money out of the club until it's in a position where it's just like, it's not even worth playing with anymore. And then maybe they'll move on. It's a disgrace. Right, let's read a couple of your comments. I can't believe we've been going for 40 minutes, by the way. Do us a favour, smash us a like on this video. Help us out on the old YouTube algorithm. I'm trying to do a lot more videos these days. I'm loving the support on the channel we've been getting recently. Shout out to a new patron as well, Steve Johnson, who's become a patron, link in the description. Thank you very, very much. We've got 11 patrons on the channel now as well. We've also got 20 channel members, which are these legends in green here, like the Saint, like Gungshi, great to see you in here. Says no fighting over No Bones Jones with the Phil Jones emojis there. So we've been doing well on the channel recently. So I just want to say shout out to you guys. Thanks for tuning in and everything. And you're a bunch of bloody legends. JP says Phil is all mine. He absolutely loves Phil Jones, this JP character. He really does. I have no idea why, but he absolutely loves Phil Jones. To be fair to Phil Jones, he wasn't the shittest defender in United's team yesterday. I thought that was that slab Ed Harry, to be fair. I thought Phil Jones actually did all right, for a change. He's usually like a pure calamity out there. And don't get me wrong, there were some moments, but it was Harry who took the calamitous headlines. Gaming Streams comments Woodward out. Yeah, that's the biggest problem, and you can't get rid of the owners because they own the football club legally, but you can demand that Ed Woodward is relieved of his duties and sacked and disposed of. You can do that. You can hope that we can have an effect on the owners to make them appoint a freaking director of football like an Edwin van der Sar type guy. That'd be brilliant. Somebody who's got the best interests of the club at heart, the best interests of the team out there on the pitch at heart. Recruitment, scouting, all that good stuff, controlling all of that, managing correctly. Unbelievable. We got a super chat here from K Wars. Thank you, K Wars. Let me just have a little sip of my Fanta. K Wars says, don't think I've seen such a disappointed Old Trafford crowd in years. It's sad how the owners feed off fans for the love of the club. United are so bad. Absolutely very sad. Emptying stadium towards the end of the game. I mean, next time, to prove a real point, you should do that around about the bloody 40-minute mark or something, when we're winning. That would really prove a big point. But yeah, I know what you're saying. Like, it was a completely deflating evening. I've seen a lot of fans at the stadium who are very, very unhappy with the amount of money that they've spent to travel there, hotels, tickets, all that good stuff. That's why I haven't been in a long time. Last time I went was 2013, and it was the shittest game. I think one of the shittest games I've ever seen, and ended up costing me about 250 quid. And to a lot of people, that's just not sustainable. It's not worth it when you're going up there and watching absolute drivel. Now that was in the days when we were much better than we are now. So imagine that feeling. Imagine like travelling over to watch a game for United. Spending money on, I don't know, flights, hotels, whatever. And I know you want to support your football club and you love your football club, but it's about entertainment at the end of the day. You want to have entertainment, and you're not always going to win every game. It's not about that, but you want the players out there to really be fighting. You want to see the team pulling in the right direction and the team progressing and just playing some decent stuff for the home Old Trafford crowd. You know, it's nothing unreasonable to expect that United should put on a much more entertaining, better display at Old Trafford against Burnley, is it? Thank you very much for your super chat there, K-Wars. Top man. Ian T comments, Pig, the problem with rebuilding by signing young British talent is they're not cheap anymore and the club won't invest huge amounts. Yep, you're right. I mean, look at this Jude Bellingham. 30 million quid for a 16-year-old. Are we having a freaking bubble bath with a giraffe right now? I mean, crikey. That is outrageous to pay that sort of money for a young lad. I don't think that's going to materialise for that sort of money, but I mean, you know, we've seen stranger things. When we signed Dan James, I was thinking 15 million for a championship player, like, who's unknown pretty much, like, to me anyway. And I was thinking that seems a lot. You know, Alan Shearer, when I was growing up, Alan Shearer broke the freaking record to go to Newcastle United from Blackburn Rovers for £15 million. And now Dan James is going from the championship, pretty much unknown. I know he had a decent season down there, to United for 15 million. And he's just supposed to be like some backup player. Now, as it turns out, Dan James turns out to be a great player, and he's been one of our most impressive young players this season. Absolutely, he really has done. But I wasn't expecting that. I was just thinking, wow, 15 million for a sort of backup squad player. It's mad. Like, young lad. But that's football these days, man. It's crazy. 30 million quid for Bellingham. I mean, who knows? Stefan comments, Phil Jones would easily make any World 11. You're right about that one, actually. Phil Jones would get into any World 11. Definitely. If it was a gurning World 11 for gurning face, then maybe. But anything else, nah, he's not getting in there. Naj Arnson comments, I back Ollie 100%. We need to build United to success, not changing manager, get some quality players in, get us back on track. Come on, my son. Loving that comment there, Nijal. Thank you very much for getting in here with that comment. See, that's what I'm all about too. I think, regardless of the manager, it's not the biggest problem. The biggest problem is the squad, the lack of players, the lack of quality, and the injury problems, and not having the depth in the squad to deal with those injury problems brought on by the pathetic and incompetent Woodward and Glazers. That's mainly the issue. Now, of course, Solskjaer may not be the most experienced manager in the world. He's not got the best CV. But he's still somebody who loves the club and wants to see the club back up there, and somebody that has shown some good glimpses of managerial qualities for United at the helm. You know, when he took over from Mourinho, it's like, wow, we won like 11 games in a row or something. You know, that PSG game, all that stuff. It's just been a really tough season, mostly made difficult by the lack of investment in the team at the start of the season and players going out. The Saint says he needs a rest and bringing in sparingly. Voodoo says Dan James is great. So yeah, Dan James, I agree. We've got a skeleton squad. Some of these young players are being brought on too quickly, really. You've seen Williams have a great run in the side recently. Had to be subbed off yesterday for Luke Shaw. Guess he's fatigued. You know, you've got Dan James over on the other side, of course, who has been playing a lot of games up there, sprinting like a little bloody road runner up and down that byline. You know, and he's barely had a rest. So yeah, I mean, that's another problem with not having the depth and the quality in the team. Let's just answer a couple more questions then, lads and lasses. Then I am going to wrap this video up. But thank you so much for joining me. Get your last opinions in. Ollie out. Let's have a look at the final scores on the vote as well. It's still got a day left on Twitter. Please do have a vote on Twitter if you are tuning in right now. My Twitter is twitter.com/MrFlyingPigHD. There's a poll on there. Ollie in or Ollie out. At the moment, there's been 200 votes. At the moment, Ollie in, 38.6%. Ollie out, 61.4%. Crikey. So the majority of fans definitely don't want to see Ole Gunnar Solskjaer remain at the club very much longer. That sickens me, but hopefully that's just, I don't know, some people trolling and stuff like that. But I mean, that really concerns me that there's that many people that want Ole Gunnar Solskjaer out and are not really aware that he's probably not the problem. That's what I think. Solskjaer's not the main problem. Woodward's the main problem. The Glazers are the main problem. The management of the club at the top level is the main problem. Lack of recruitment, lack of investment, shoddy recruitment over the years when we have spent. You know, I mean, it's just been a calamity. Fitch1001 comments, Ollie in, Glazers out. Come on. That's what we're talking about. Mikhail Kramer says, Ollie in, owners out. Oh, yeah. Come on. Ian T comments, Ollie in until the end of the season, then see. Why not bring in an experienced coach to support him? Fair play. I mean, Mike Phelan is an experienced coach, to be fair. The Saint, don't rate Chong, but he's a squad member. Play him. Chong, doing some bits for the younger squads. He's probably going to be going out the door. I don't know. He's not going to really get the game time, is he? Solskjaer doesn't seem to want to play Chong. We've got Angel Gomez as well, which I think is further ahead than Chong in terms of development. I don't think, how are they going to get in the team? I mean, Chong, in all honesty, from what we've seen over the season, is not really the answer, I don't think. Not right now. I think we need something a little bit better right now. Mark Singh comments, you can't sack the owners. That's it. You can't make them sell. I mean, I suppose you could make it really uncomfortable for them and just horrible and financially really hurt them by just completely boycotting every single thing from the club, which you don't want to do because you love your football club. You want to support your club. You want to go and cheer your club on and watch them and be entertained by them. But if that stops happening, then you might have to stop going. You might have to stop doing that, and then they might have to leave. Nando Elites only comments, Ollie out, how to vote, Ollie out. So, okay, you go to twitter.com/MrFlyingPigHD or at MrFlyingPigHD. Northern Migration comments, Ollie Gunnar Solskjaer out, Glazers out. So that's somebody that thinks, that is just literally everybody should go. Sack the lot of them. No, fair play. Look, I mean, there's bigger, better, more experienced names in world football in terms of managers than Ollie Gunnar Solskjaer. There is. So I can't really defend that Northern Migration, but, I just think we've tried with those types of guys. We tried with Louis van Gaal. It wasn't the most successful. In fact, it was bloody dreary. We tried with Jose. It sort of worked at the start there for a bit. He did very well in his first season, even decent in his second season. But it all fell apart and ended in tears, at some point. So I just don't think that if we get another big name manager, unless it's, Pep Guardiola or unless it's Jurgen Klopp or something right now, which obviously they're not going to happen, I just don't see how we could really close the gap that much. It's nothing to do with that, in my opinion. I think it's mostly to do with the players. So great comment, but agree to disagree on the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer part. Gungshi comments, Ollie hasn't been supported by the likes of Potato Head, but makes it worse for himself by sounding like a yes man in press conferences. He keeps saying he's happy with his squad, etc. Yeah, I mean, that is ridiculous. You can't be saying he's happy with his squad, but I personally think he's just, like you say, he is sounding like a yes man because he wants to just make the Glazers and Woodward happy with him in terms of not rocking the boat. He doesn't want to rock the boat. Now, I'm sure he does want the players. Of course he wants to get Bruno Fernandes, I'm sure. There's so much speculation about it. We need him. There's so many players we need. Look at the injury issues. Of course he wants players in the side. But, yeah, I mean, what's he supposed to say, though, Gungas? I know what you're saying, but is he supposed to go after the game? Look, the players were gash. We don't have the players. We don't have the depth. Is he supposed to say what I say and just say, like, let's get rid of them, all these gash players, Lingard, shite. Let's go out there, sign Bruno Fernandes. They're bored. They're refusing to get the player I want. They're not paying the money. Just pay the money, Ed. I've told him, pay the money, and I'm having to come here, say it publicly for everybody to hear. I want them to spend the money. I don't think that's really going to do him any favours. So I think he'll get sacked. So it's a difficult one. Like, how do you play that? You have to sort of be like, the owners are great. Fergie did it, man. Look, Fergie did it. And to be fair, back then, Fergie made them look good. And they did spend a bit of money for Fergie because it was Fergie and he had a great team and they had sensational abilities. But even then, like, Fergie always used to defend the Glazers. I remember him saying they've been great. They're great owners for him and all this stuff. And he can't really mean that deep down with what's been going on in the football. Certainly not now, if you asked him, I don't think, anyway. But because he didn't want to rock the boat and make it an untenable position, that's sort of what you have to do. You've got to play the game. So he's got to keep his mouth shut to some degree. But behind the scenes, I'm sure he has had some important conversations with the likes of Ed Woodward and made it abundantly clear that we do need to bring some quality players in ASAP. Raymond Moore, how you doing, Raymond? He comments, still have few days until the end of January. If still no signings, then the Glazers and Woodward have done Ollie dirty. Absolutely. I mean, I think they've already done Ollie dirty by not backing him in the summer, but certainly by not at least having a couple of transfers wrapped up at the start of the January transfer window to bring in straight away and give us a little leg up for the certainly for January anyway, and the remainder of the season. Like, there was no reason Bruno Fernandes couldn't have been bought in at the start of the window and we just agreed terms earlier on. It's like United really struggle with Ed Woodward at the helm to get any deals done. It takes 12 months, it takes a bloody year to get a deal done. Year ago, Leicester, we're interested in Harry Maguire. Do you want, what, you take 60 million for him? No. Okay, well, I'll call you in 6 months. Do you know what I mean? 6 months later. Take 70 million for him? No. Okay. 6 months later. Leicester? Harry Maguire. That big slab head. Yeah. 80 mil? Yeah, okay then, yeah. Nice one. Done. Takes a year. It's a long drawn out process. What's that about? It's same with Bruno Fernandes. He was supposed to sign a year ago. It's bloody laughable, man. It's hysterical. What a joke. Aidan CE comments, Pig, of course it's much easier to blame one man over 11 players and the structure above him. Open your eyes, lads. This is our fourth manager. The common denominator is Woodward, the board, and the Glazers. I'm loving the level-headed comments we're getting here. Thanks, Aidan. Great comment. I'm loving the like-minded people that I'm seeing in the chat. There is a bunch of Ollie out people in here too, and that's great. You're allowed your opinions and stuff. But I'm glad that there's a bunch of people in here that share the same opinions and beliefs of me. Alex comments, Bruno is not coming in. We're screwed until Rashford returns. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the case, isn't it? Until Rashford's back, he was our main goal scorer, really. Man, we've got to get Bruno coming in, though. Right, okay, I think I'm going to wrap this one up then, lads and lasses. We've been going on for a long time, nearly an hour now. But I'm going to try and do daily videos. I'm going to try and do a lot more videos. Shout out to you all, you know, who get involved and tune in and stuff. Surprised there's so many of you tuning in this early afternoon on a Thursday here. But thanks very much for getting in here and getting your opinions and making yourself known. If I didn't reply to you, understand that I'd love to reply to everybody. But come back in a few minutes' time when this video is finished and get your thoughts in the not live comment section, and everybody and myself can respond. I'm also going to respond to everybody's comments on the match reaction last night. I haven't been able to respond to everybody. But thank you so much for getting involved. Thanks for watching the videos. Do us a favour, smash a cheeky little like on this video. If you happen to be new to the channel, make sure you do subscribe as well. Hit that subscribe button and click the little bell icon as well to be notified when we post anything on this channel. Of course, we've got the games coming up at the weekend, so we will be doing all sorts of stuff. City game coming up. Want to give a few shout outs at the end here. JP, The Saint, Mikhail Kramer, Gungshi, Matt Lewis, Fitch 101, Gaz Newton, OTB, Eugene McGeever, Matt Lewis, Pepper Red. Is there anybody I've missed? Neil Hater, did I say him? Neil Duffin, probably in here somewhere too. Anyway, everybody, you know, thanks for stopping by on the channel. Do chuck a like on it if you can. If you can help me out by sharing it on social media as well, that would be absolutely amazing. Going to try and do more videos, as I say, more updates when there's, you know, real legit stuff going on for United, or just more thoughts and opinion videos and stuff like this, like Ollie in, Ollie out, bit of a debate with you guys, give you my thoughts on it, see what you guys think, all that good stuff. So thanks for being here with me today on Flying Pig United. You have yourselves a bloody good one. I'll see you very, very soon. You've been watching The Pig. Take it easy, and come on, United, it's time to sort your bloody selves out. Sack Woodward, sack Glazers, get some players in, and back Ollie. Ollie Gunnar Solskjaer in. Give him some players for Pete's sake. Oh yeah, that's right. We've done it. That's the end of the show. Thanks very much for getting in here, lads and lasses. Shout out to all of you, honestly. Over 100 of you legends tuned in for this random Thursday afternoon show. So, pretty awesome. Like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. Little shout out at the end here. This is Patreon credits for the people that do follow the channel and support the channel on Patreon. Link in the description if you guys do want to help and support the channel. But Alex Rudd, thank you. Alex Rincon, thank you so much, mate. E. Kalul, Matt Norton, Lucinda Green, Robbo, Liam White, Gungshi, of course, thank you so much, my friend, Jarvis Cocker, Pete Miller, Wallace Montcroy Stewart, Marshall Gralla, and we've also got to add The Saint and also Steve Johnson to this list. So apologies for the lack of adding it. It's a bit piss poor, but on the next video, that will be on the credits, lads and lasses. But thank you. Have a great day. I'll see you soon. Take it easy.